Divorced, Forties and Flirting. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. I have long explained that there are many books, TV programs, films that portray narcissists, and people don't realize that that's the case. That instead, it is portrayed as some kind of cool lifestyle choice, some kind of renaissance for an individual as they find themselves being liberated, when in actual fact, it shows a range of behaviours that support the fact that the individual or individuals concerned is or are narcissists. Instead, this type of material muddies the water, making it hard for people to recognise that this is a narcissist at work. Instead, the behaviour is euphemised. It's described as a second coming, a liberation, a renaissance. In other, perhaps less complimentary ways, the person's described as having anger management issues, or that they're high maintenance, or highly strung, when in actual fact their behaviours accord with that of a narcissist. The media's preoccupation with having these types of individuals, the sort of Sex and the City woman, masks the behaviour of narcissists and makes it harder for people to spot. Accordingly, an article recently appeared in the Times newspaper, which is clearly the behaviour of an unaware narcissist, and provides me with an excellent opportunity to highlight the behaviours that demonstrate the individual concerned is behaving in the manner that a narcissist would, and also afford you the opportunity of seeing yet again another lifestyle article which recounts how a lady, in this instance, has gone beyond divorce and is enjoying a particular lifestyle, when in actual fact it portrays the behaviour of a narcissist. And therefore, it behooves me to point this out to you to unmask these behaviours. Thursday night, Chiltern Firehouse, not the restaurant, the back bar where A, B and C-list celebs mingle with London faces and hotel guests. To get in, you either have to book a bedroom, be extremely famous, or negotiate hard with a woman in possession of a large list and an even bigger ego. Outfits don't matter. It's not what you wear, it's who you know. Connections, character traits. Who you're here to see. You can wear vegan Birkenstocks if you're here to meet Kate Moss. I had my hen night here, writes the author Stacey Dogoodid. Also on a Thursday night. The long-sleeved, high-necked maxi dress I wore then couldn't be further from what I'm working tonight. In my mid-40s, I'm channeling Paula Yates, narcissist, meets Joan Collins, narcissist. The trenches of early motherhood are a distant memory. If the hen night outfit was an outward expression of the married mother version of me, the Newcastle Big Market worthy micro mini dress are a sartorial expression of whatever just happened to my libido. Accordingly, wearing skimpy clothing, which is often the hallmark of a somatic narcissist. I've turned into a cat, tail up, purring as I rub my arse against lamppost people's sofas, demonstrating being hypersexualized behavior of a narcissist. I don't get it. I started taking HRT last month. I'm hormonally charged with extra estrogen. Could that be the reason I'm as horny as a bonobo monkey? If I remember correctly, bonobos are apes, not monkeys. Minor point. But also, note that the individual is talking about how it's the HRT that's making her feel horny, whereas, as you'll see in relation to further comments, it's got nothing to do with that. In actual fact, her hypersexualization stems from her narcissism. The other theory, according to Dr. Google, could be that my body is having a last hurrah. My body, not me. It clearly now has a mind of its own. Blame shifting. It wasn't me that caused me to fuck somebody in the toilets. It was my body, not my fault. Subtle form of blame shifting. Or it might be down to a surge of testosterone or progesterone. Might. No one seems sure. Just silly old ladies in middle-aged. What would we know, eh? We've deranged our entire lives to being hormonally challenged. I know this much is true. If this shit, the perimenopause, were happening to men, it would be front page news every single day. Whatever the reason, all I know is I have to have sex. Hypersexualization, means of asserting control and drawing fuel. Later, tomorrow, all night, in the morning. I've started to flirt with everyone. Lack of boundary recognition, sense of entitlement. I flirt with my salad. I flirt with barristers. I even flirt with the poor sod who has the misfortune of answering my call to First Direct. Well, hello. How is the weather in Scotland today? Purr, purr. I only wanted to make an international bank transfer, not have phone sex. I want sex. Hypersexualization. Not shit sex, not quick 3-minute sex. No, I want sex in a way I've never had it before. I don't know what this mythical sex looks like, but I do know I want to experiment. Not with whips and shit, that's not for me, although it's a big yes to being tied up. Older, I feel freer. I want to be handcuffed. I've never had an appetite for anything other than baby-making missionary position. As for the drug-fueled one-night stands of my youth, they were utterly awful. Note-taking of drugs, lack of accountability, crap sex with crap men while high on crap drugs. No, ladies, this time around, it's expensive heels, good fragrance, and a decent set of undies. Let's go mad. My mate Sarah's last words before we decided upon Chiltern Firehouse. I'm out on the smoking bed, a small outside terrace, accessed by the women's loo, not the restaurant loo, the loo used by the chosen ones whose names made it onto the guest list. Somebody gave me a dab of MDMA, drug taking, lack of accountability. I dabbed at the crystals in a plastic bag, wincing as it hit my tongue. I downed it with a nearby drink. The thing about MDMA is how quickly it hits the system. The lights blur golden, and the previous chilly terrace feels warm and sensual. A woman wearing a skin-tight, shiny black corset catches my eye. I have no idea what happened between the moment where we lock eyes and then mouths, but we've left the terrace, and I'm in a cubicle with her. She dips a decorated acrylic nail into a bag of something white and puts it up to my nose. It stings. My nose hurts. More drug-taking, lack of accountability. We're snogging, sexual fluidity. Pulling off each other's clothes, hers more difficult to remove than mine. Naked, unstable on high heels, I sit down on the toilet seat. Stacy, has anybody seen a redhead? Stacy! Sarah, I'm in here. Oh, wait, I'll be out in a minute. Removing the mummon's mouth, I tell her I have to go. 1 minute, you are eating organic muesli. Seated at a wooden table in a glass box extension of your architecturally designed home, the next you're getting off with a woman wearing latex. Didn't see this midlife roller coaster on the horizon. Well, again, I would suggest it's nothing to do with a midlife roller coaster, but rather a narcissist at work. Dear www.toyboywarehouse.com, thank you for your recent delivery of a tall young Frenchman. I have to say, after being alerted to the site by a couple of similarly aged girlfriends, logging onto the site for the first time was quite the eye-opener. Notice the use of a dating site. See my video, Why You Should Not Use Online Dating. They're invariably the preserve of narcissists on the hunt. First of all, I received more messages over the course of a day than a year's worth from Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Inner Circle combined. Notice the prevalence of use of dating apps by this individual. Scrolling through 3,891 messages from men young enough to be my child, well, I had to lie down in a dark room for an hour. Many of the messages were themed, cougars and their cubs being the main one. Some of the cubs do seem a little vulnerable, and I can't help but wonder if this were a site for middle-aged men looking for much younger women. Perhaps you'd be policing the various messages and goings-on. Then I laugh at my own motherly concern. The other way around. Ha 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 ha. That's called daily life, baby. Dismissiveness. Anyway, I happen across a lovely-looking young man, let's call him Napoleon, who, from his photos, I could tell worked in fashion. Whoa, turns out I was right, and despite my tracksuit ensemble, he recognized me. LOL. Arriving at my door at the same time as my Lebanese food order from Deliveroo, I couldn't decide which one I wanted to tuck into first. Presumptiveness, sense of entitlement. The kissing, however, was bad, meaning I had to train young Napoleon in the way of the slow kiss, which to his credit he soon picked up. Worry not. This is not me asking for my subscription back. This story has a happy ending in every way. The first time we had sex, early introduction to sex, another indicator, we were both so paralytic drunk, no wonder it was a bit meh. At the time I was 47 and he a mere 34. I've had 2 children, big uns, meaning ye old tummy is a little crepey, not to be confused with a French crepe, by the way. I woke the following morning to find this young man asleep beside me, looking so much younger than he did the night before. Jesus, I thought to myself, this is cruel. I woke up looking like Animal from the Muppets. He looks like an angel. Can I be arrested, I thought, given he now looked 12. The point of my writing is to congratulate you. Toys R Us, Pets at Home, Toy Boy Warehouse. Your catchy little moniker delivers exactly what it says on the tin. Continuing to have sex all day, Hypersexualization, with this young French buck, by our 3rd go, he tied my hands behind my back. It's safe to say I had the best sex of my life. Also bear in mind that this individual is sharing all of this with pictures of herself and her name in a national newspaper, which demonstrates demonstrates grandiosity by way of showmanship and showing off in relation to all of this. And also that many people reading it would be thinking, well, fair enough if you want to do all of this, but you don't need to go bang on about it in a national newspaper. It seems a little bit tacky, a little bit unsavory to do so. But there's a lack of awareness in that regard. She continues to write, if you'd allow me a small grievance, just a small point, may I suggest a health warning in the form of a pop-up on your site? It could read, warning, once you sample goods from this site, you will never look at a man your own age again. Just a thought. Notice that she's telling them how they ought to run their site. Presumptiveness, ordering about. Many women like myself are looking for equal partners in life, and society tells us we ought to seek out long-term relationships. Thing is, once Pandora's box is open, and the younger man has infiltrated your psyche, vagina, you can kiss cozy nights on the sofa watching Netflix goodbye. Forget about mooching round farmers' markets on Sunday morning, and get ready to whiz dangerously around Ibiza on the back of Napoleon's motorbike. The hem of a maxi skirt caught in a motorbike wheel outside DC-10 is an awkward way to die at almost 50. Anyway, thanks for your services. I continue to date, said Frenchie 2 years on. A volatile relationship. The more he annoys me, the better our sex. That sentence encapsulates, of course, the narcissistic dynamic. Note that she eschews the suggestion of a stable, cozy relationship, and instead it's all about the thrill-seeking, and then talks about how a volatile relationship is preferable because the more he annoys me, the better our sex. That is the mindset of a narcissist right there. I'm not sure what that says about me. Well, I am. I'm seeking help, she states. She then goes on to write, do not date any men who wear, 1, round tortoiseshell glasses, unless they have a prescription. In other words, men who wear opticals purely as a fashion statement should from now on be avoided like that guy Peter, who refused to see a dental hygienist. I suspect that that's a dig at somebody called Peter, and therefore she's triangulating that individual by making mention of him and smearing him in a national newspaper. 2, rugby socks worn with slip-on checkerboard Vans. Need I say more? I rest my case. 3, barber jackets with cuffs rolled up to show off a tattoo. 4, very big beards. Awful to snog. Well, apart from that guy in Paris. Contradictory behaviours. 5, hats unless it's snowing, in which case a beanie is okay. 6, boots made in the UK that cost more than my Pradas. It's not right. 7, fisherman's jumpers in cream worn with a pork pie hat on holiday in Cornwall. 8, comme des garçons Converse. Notice again that she's being prescriptive as to what people should wear, showing a sense of entitlement by ordering people around. Then she continues by explaining how to communicate with women on dating sites. 1. When making the first approach, be curious. Kick off with something about your day, but ask questions. Not too many, mind. Sample text, hello, nice to connect with you. I've been in meetings all day, just finished, on my way out to watch a film. How about you? What have you been up to today? Any plans for this evening? 2. When she replies, do not immediately ask for her number. It's tiresome and presumptuous. 3. Should she offer up her surname, do not snoop on her LinkedIn. She can see you viewed her profile, you donut. 4. Assuming you haven't video dialed her via the dating app at 3 a.m. by mistake after a couple of days, ask if she'd like to move to WhatsApp. 5. If she suggests moving to WhatsApp first, ask for her number and tell her you'll be in touch later on. If she has children, avoid messaging during kids' bedtime, homework time, bath time, tea time, school pickup time. Try between 2 p.m. and 2:20 p.m. Even if she works full-time and is out of the home all day, she'll be micromanaging every single move her children make. Notice again a reference there to micromanaging, assertion of control. 6. After a couple of WhatsApps, suggest a phone call, not via Zoom, Microsoft Teams or Skype, just a plain old phone call, and one that's not set up by your PA. 7. After date 1, if you split the bill and made a fuss about the food, you can delete her number. She'll have to pay half because she's a feminist. Doesn't mean to say she wants to go Dutch on a date. What do you mean the rules are complicated? Now, this is taken from a book this individual is plugging called In Pursuit of Happiness, Mating, Marriage, Motherhood, Money, Mayhem. And I should imagine that if I bothered to read it, not that I'm going to do so, all it would do is reaffirm the narcissistic behaviors of this individual, where even in that short extract, there are numerous indicators of the behavior of a narcissist, but it's just passed off as finding liberation, finding a new way of living after divorce. I highlight this as an example for you to enable you to gain understanding of how these articles actually demonstrate the behavior of a narcissist. But let's just find out below the line whether anybody picks up on these things. There's over 400 comments about this particular article. A. James writes, more trash about this woman that nobody's ever heard of. Why? Nicola Wolin, it's time to unsubscribe. D. Barnes, third day in a row for this silly article. Please make it stop. Brendon, if a man in his 40s said he's flirting with everyone, he'd be labelled a sleaze, and if he talked about women the way she talks about men, he'd be called an even bigger sleaze who is objectifying women. So many double standards floating around, they don't even get on my nerves anymore. Indeed, it demonstrates here that individual has seen how she objectifies people. Mike Wilson, is this newsworthy? Aging drug user being promiscuous. Why are you promoting her book so hard? Sophie Claridge, I read half and felt sad. Live your life, do as you please, but don't write about it. It's not empowering or useful to others. It's just a bit vulgar. M. Edwards, get a room with Cipriani and stay there. You seem well suited. This is a reference to the rugby player Danny Cipriani, who has been providing us with lots of revelations about how many people he slept with. George Saint-Jacques Carac, wait, so being sexually liberated excuses the use of Class A drugs? I suppose my disdain for lining the pockets of drug dealers makes me really boring. Adrian Leslie, that's why the lady is a tramp. M. Stevens, sleazy nonsense. Robert Asher, the first article about this woman was horrid, now another one. Cheating on her husband, drug abusing, child ignoring, desperate on all counts to face up to her aging drug habits, failed parenting. So there's clearly more articles about this woman which shows infidelity, which again is a hallmark of the narcissist and an absence of emotional empathy, drug abuse, lack of accountability, child ignoring, lack of emotional empathy, selfishness. It might be the case that I'm able to find that in other article and provide more information about what that shows. Nevertheless, there's plenty in this article already which demonstrates precisely what Stacey Duguid is, but she doesn't realise it, and how the way that she writes might influence people to think that such behaviour is acceptable. Well, it is to some, it isn't to others, but the point is, it actually masks what she truly is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.